Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Basic of computer programming. Today I'm going to start chapter number 2 as chapter number 1 is almost complete. We have done the question answers as well. Few of the questions are remaining which will be inshallah will be done in class in physical class next week. So as far as I'm going to start chapter number 2, that is basic of programming of C++. And before starting the chapter, before the introduction of the language C++, we must know about what are the computer programs, how many types of languages are there, what types of errors we are going to face when we write any program in computer. And these are the basic things which you must know about before writing any program in any high level language. Okay, C++ is a high level language. Before that, in class 9, we already had done basic as a high level language. We made the program in basic, and all of you must know that basic is a high level language written with the line numbers, and the translator is known as interpreter. In basic, there is a translator which translates the your language into machine language, and that is known as interpreter. Okay. So before starting C++, this is the introduction. This chapter includes the installation and introduction of C++. Okay. After the basic concepts, it gives you the detail about installing C++ in your computers, and you must install C++ in your computer to make the practice of all the programs in C++. Okay, now so we'll start chapter number 2, that is introduction to C++. And first, the introduction is there that there are some new terms for you, like IDE, which you have not learned before. These are the terms I will explain it to you. And for that, computer program is a set of instructions. It's a set of instructions that is understood by a computer to perform a task. We know that computer understands machine language, and we need to translate our language into machine language by any translator, right? So the introduction is about the computer program. What the computer program is. A set of instructions that is understood by the computer to perform tasks. A person who writes computer program is known as computer programmer. I already explained this in class that what is the difference between the programmer and the user and the analyst. There are three terms: analyst, a person who analyzes any problem. In first chapter we already had done what are the analysts, what is the role of analyst, what are the jobs of the analyst, and then programmer, and then user. We are the user. We cannot write the program in the computer unless we have know-how of any high-level language, right? So a person who writes computer program is known as a programmer. Computer processes instructions in binary language, therefore programs are written in programming language. Programming language has a specific set of words called syntax to create those instructions. This is very important line, that there are some protocols, there are some syntax. Syntax means the rules and regulations which you follow to write any program in any language. Every language has different syntax, right? Every language, like basic, has some other syntax. In C++, we have some other syntax. It cannot be run as we did in basic, right? Programming instructions are always given in the language with proper syntax, and without that syntax, the computer cannot accept your program. Interpreter or compiler cannot translate that program. It is impossible to translate when there is any syntax error in your program, right? If there is any syntax error in your program, it is difficult, it is impossible to execute it, to run it, right? When we did programming in basic, you must have noticed that if you put the semicolon or quotation mark, or if you didn't give the space, or if you give the wrong line numbers, it gave errors, right? Because that is the syntax of basic. In C++, also, we have some syntax to write the program and we must follow that syntax. It's impossible to do programming, to write a program without following their protocols and syntax. Specialized programs such as compilers are used to convert the set of syntax set of machine readable instructions. In BASIC, we knew that there is an interpreter which acts as a translator, but in C++ we have compiler, right? We have compiler to translate our program. And what is the difference between compiler and interpreter? Interpreter translates the program line by line. It reads one line after the other, and in compiler translates the whole program at once, and it cannot translate the program line by line, right? It gives you the number of errors at the end of the program after reading the whole program. But as far as interpreter is concerned, interpreter translates the line by line program and gives you the array line wise. Okay? So in C++, which translator is used? It is compiler, which is used in C++ as a translator. In BASIC, we used interpreter as a translator. Okay? Very specialized program known as integrated development environment. This is a special term. I'll explain it to you. That what is the IDE environment? What does it mean? It helps programmer to write the program in various languages. C++ is one of the most common and powerful general-purpose programming language. All programming languages have certain concept about the rules of syntax, reservoirs, and data type, which I explained it before. That all languages have some syntax, some reservoirs. Reservoirs like in BASIC we had import, let, print, for next, if then we have the reservoirs. In C++, we also have some reservoirs which are explained later, right? And the data type, obviously, there are the data types which is alphabetic data, numeric data, and string data. Now we are moving toward the computer program. That what is the computer program? It is, as I said, that it is a collection of instructions that can be executed by a computer to perform a specific task. There are different languages like C++, Java, Python. These are the languages in which programmers used to write programs for computer. And it depends on language, which language you are going to use. As per language, the translator will be used, whether it is a compiler or interpreter. Now, here is the syntax that tells the computer how to read a set of code. Right? If I'm going to put the bracket, I must put bracket there, otherwise it gives you the error. Right? It is essentially a set of keywords and characters that a computer can read, interpret, means translate, and convert into tasks needed. Text-based computer languages are based on sequence of characters, while visual programming languages like Visual Basic are based on the layout and connection between. So what we are using high-level language, and high-level language always use some translator, and it depends on the type of language which we are using, whether it's compiler or interpreter. There must be some syntax in every language. Like in C++, we have other syntax. In BASIC, we have some other syntax. Right? Any confusion till now? If you have any question, you can ask me. Yes, Peter, any question? Yes, syntax is very important in any program. Without syntax, you cannot write the program, and syntax is the protocol which you follow to write any program, any language. I'll tell you the syntax next. Okay, classification of computer languages, as we already know that there is machine language, low-level language, and high-level. There is a difference in here in this book. So the categories which are divided in which the languages are divided are low level language, middle language, which you did not learn before, low level language, middle language, and high level language, right? So the low level machine language is included in the category of low level language. Assembly language, as we already knew that it is a low level language, then middle language, right? And then high level language. Yes. So as far as first category is concerned, low level language, in which machine language is included, as you already know that machine language based on zeros and one, and which zero means off and it is one means on, and they are the binary codes which are included in machine language, and it's very difficult to write in any programming machine language. That's why we use high level language, because these are user friendly, and in our language that's why it is easy to write the program in high level language, because it is English based. Actually we can understand it easily. But as far as machine language is concerned, it's very difficult to write program in machine language with the combination of zeros and ones. Well, let's suppose if there is an alphabet A, there are 3 to 4 digits for that to represent that A. If I'm going to write number 10, number 9, or number 8, there is a code in binary number of 2 to 3 digits to represent 9 or 10. So this is very difficult to write program in machine language. And after that, the assembly language was introduced. And in assembly language, there is a combination of some text and some symbols, right? The assembly language comes above the machine language, means that it has lesser access to hardware. See the difference? It has a direct access to hardware because it does not need any translator. Right? Machine language does not need any translator, but the assembly language needs a translator because it has some codes and human language as well. Right? It is easy to write, easy to read, and maintained by human, and the assembly language is written in simple English language, so it is easily understandable by the user, but it has the combination of code as well, right? But see the difference here, it has a direct access to the hardware because no translator is needed. Execution time is less as well because it executes quickly because there is no translator in between. In assembly language, lesser access to hardware because there is a translator needed to translate the high level, alphabet codes and into machine language. After that, middle language was there. Some special purpose middle level language were developed in the past that were used as a bridge between hardware and user interaction. However, such languages have become absolute and not used anymore. ये difference in दोनों का machine language and assembly language, you must know that what is the difference between these two. It is direct access to the hardware, it has lesser access to the hardware. It typically depends on 0 and 1 binary number. It is a combination of code and English alphabet. So it becomes convenient. After that, middle language and then high level language. And we already know that high level language is actually our language. It is written in our language, human language. That's why it is easy to understand by the user. It is easy to write program by the user, by the programmer, and it is convenient for us. But high level language needs a translator to translate the source code into object code into source code and vice versa. Right? These languages are closer to human language than machine level language. High level languages do not have direct access to the hardware, right? Do not have direct access to the hardware. Here we had direct access and communicate with the hardware. Here we have lesser access and lesser direct access to the hardware, and here we don't have direct access to the hardware. Okay? Therefore, a translator, whether it is compiler or interpreter, is required to translate a high-level language into a low-level language. Now, what are the advantages? As it's obvious that it is easy to write, easy to read, easy to maintain, it is English words, and the high-level language is portable as opposed as low-level language. Yes, Nawal, machine language executes more quickly because there is no translator in between. It does not take time to translate. So the execution is fast. That's why machine language, because machine language is easy to understand by the computer. There is no translator needed, but difficult to write for the programmer to write the program in it. Yes, Nawal, assembly language consists of some codes and English words. Difference between low level language and high level language. Any other question? If you have any question, you can ask me right now. Now, here's the difference between low level language and high level language. It is a machine language, machine friendly language, that is the computer understand the machine language which is represented in 0 and 1, and it is user friendly language. As you know, it's it requires the assembler to convert the assembly code into machine. It requires the compiler or interpreter to convert the high level language instruction. One type of machine code cannot run on all machines, so it is not a portable language. Now this is, see the number 3. The high level code can be translated to required machine code, so it is portable language. So the main point is this, that in machine code, if we write program in machine code, it needs the specification of the machine as well. I'm working on machine number 1 and that is compatible for my program. It is not necessary that my program will work on machine number 2 as well. So because machine number 2 must have some other configuration. So it depends on configuration of the machine as well. So it is not a portable language that once you write the program and run on any computer, it is not possible for machine code. But for high level language, like basic we did it, that if we write a program in any computer, we can run on other computer as well, right? It has direct access to memory because there is no translator needed. That's why it is direct access to the memory. It is less memory efficient, right? Coding and maintenance are not easy in a low-level language, and coding and maintenance are easier in high-level language, as we already discussed. Any question till now? There is another thing. Now the next topic is translator. Till now, if you have any query, you can ask me. Yes, yes, Nawal. Machine language coding, low level language coding is machine dependent. Like there, you must know the configuration of the machine. Like if I'm working on one computer, I cannot execute that program on some other computer. Right? But high level language program is user friendly. It's not machine dependent. Like if I'm working on some computer, I can run that program on other computers. Yes. Questions from one side only. The rest of you, what are you doing? So I'm supposed to ask the question from you. So who is going to answer? Alishba? Alishba, what is the difference between high level language and machine language? What is the difference? Alishba, and yes, Nawal, absolute means खत्म हुआ हुआ यानी पुराना कोई बहुत जो चीज खत्म हो चुकी होती है जो फिलहाल यूज में नहीं होगी. ठीक है. Yes, Alish bhai, I'm waiting for your answer. Please tell me about anyone. Abhiha, what is the difference between machine language and high level language? Alish bhai, you have given me the answer opposite of each other. If you are talking about computer, yes, it's right. If you are talking about the user or programmer, it's vice versa. Like if I'm talking about the programmer, low level language is difficult to understand. However, high level language is easy to understand, to write the program by the programmer or to use by the user. Okay, Toki, are you there? Yes, Abhi, I asked you. And Toki, tell me what is a computer program? And Reza, yes, what is a computer program? It's a very simple and very easy question. Please answer quickly. Yes, Abhi, I asked. Very good, Pita. And Reza and Toki, please. In some complex machine and with a very good expertise, yes, one can use machine language and assembly language. So update and answer. I want the answer from you. Hurry up. What is the computer program? Nawaz, if we have a convenience at something, what will we do? Go for the convenient way or the difficult way? Yes, obviously convenient way. So the programmers are continuously working on that. They are continuously developing or working on developing the languages. Convenient. So Asan Raza and Toki must be sleeping, I guess. So please, you can go out from the class. Sure, yeah. We move toward the next topic. Ahmad Reza, can you answer me what is a computer program? Only the girls are participating. Ahmad Reza is not here. Okay, so the next topic is translators. The computers only understand machine code. It's obvious we discussed it. This code is difficult to read, write, and maintain. Programmers prefer to use a variety of high and low level programming languages instead. This is the answer of your question, Nawal. A program written in any language is called a source code. Like what we are writing a program, it's a source code, and that converted into the object code, right? To convert the source code into machine code, translators are needed. ठीक है low level language program, high level language program. As a translator takes a program written in source language as input and convert it into a program in target machine language as output. It also detects and reports during the translation. So it is the task of a translator to indicate the errors what we are writing, if there is any syntax error, if there is any logical error. It indicates that there is an error in the program. You must have to remove that error and run it again. And that removal of the errors and indicating error and removing that error is known as debugging, right? Debugging is the procedure to remove the errors from any program, right? Now, the role of translators are translating the program input into an equivalent machine language program, same as is machine language program. Like what we are writing, it will be same equivalent converted into machine language program. Providing alert messages wherever the program does not follow the rule of syntax of source language. Like we are writing in a program, it is known as the source code. So the language which we are using is the source language, and it need to be converted into object code in machine language. And the role of the translator is to give you the messages that what the errors, what the syntax error or the logical errors. So the different types of translators are compiler, interpreter, and assembler. We already had done since class 7 that these are the different types of translator we have in computer. First is the compiler. I already explained in class 9 as well the difference between compiler and interpreter. So I give you a quick view of it. That compiler is a translator to translate high-level programming language or low-level programming language. Compiler takes time to do its work as it translates high-level code to all at once and creates an executable file. It translates the program all at once. Interpreter translates the program line by line. An assembler is translator used to translate assembly language to machine language. Right? It is like a compiler for the assembly language. It is used for language only, but interactive like an interpreter. An assembler translates assembly language code to an even lower level language code, which is the machine code. The machine code can be directly understood by the CPU. So what is the difference? Compiler translates in one session and report the error detected after the conversion. It goes in a one go. It translates in a one go, right? And gives you the number of error at the end of the program. But the interpreter, the task of interpreter is to translate the program line by line, like we did in basic the previous year, right? And report the error as soon as it is encountered during the translation process. Okay? So this is the difference between these two, the compiler, interpreter, and assembler. Now we are moving towards the types of error. Now, if you have any confusion, you have any question, you can ask me, or should I move forward? Okay, till now what we have done? Since the beginning? The introduction of computer program, and then the syntax. What are the syntax? Yes, students, what are the syntax? Now this is my question. What are the syntax? And the classification of the computer languages, low level, middle level, and high level languages, and then the difference of low level and high level language. What is the syntax? Hurry up, Beta. And then the translators. After the topic of types of error, then we'll start programming environment of C++, IDE, and the installation of C++ in your computers. Right? Yes, yes. What is the syntax? Syntax are set of words that create instructions. Yes, syntax are the rules which we follow to write a program in any language, right? Syntax are the rules. It could be a set of words, it could be some symbols, it could be some special protocols of any language, but we must follow that protocol, that set of words, that type of writing the program. We must follow that, and without that, computer cannot execute your program. What is the name of the procedure in which we remove errors? Yes. What is the name of procedure in which we remove errors? Yes, very good, Abhiha, very good. What is the procedure in which we remove the errors from the program? Okay, I'm repeating the question. Yes, Abhiha, yes, Nawal, very good, beta, very good. It's known as debugging, to remove the error from any program. So only 4 minutes or 5 minutes are remaining, so I guess I should not start a new topic. We'll continue it in the physical class, inshallah. No question? Go through the book and download the book in your computers. Until the books are not available in the market, you can download it in your computers. You can go through it, exercise and the question answers of it, or you can ask me any question. We'll continue the topic in the next class, inshallah, in the physical class. And till now, no question from your side. Thank you.